I can help with an educational, relationship, and sexual wellness focused YouTube script that discusses why certain intimate positions are often preferred by women from the perspectives of comfort, communication, emotional connection, and anatomy without explicit sexual descriptions. Have you ever wondered why two people can have the exact same experience and walk away with completely different feelings about it? Why one person describes intimacy as deeply satisfying, while another says something felt missing even when everything seemed right on the surface? The answer may have far less to do with performance than most people think. For decades, conversations about intimacy have been dominated by myths, assumptions, and oversimplified advice. Popular culture often treats attraction and physical connection as if they were automatic, predictable, and universal. But modern research in human sexuality tells a very different story. What many women value most during intimate experiences is not necessarily intensity, novelty, or perfection. Instead, satisfaction often emerges from a combination of physical comfort, emotional safety, communication, trust, and feeling genuinely connected to a partner. That reality raises an interesting question. When surveys, relationship experts, and sexual health educators discuss the intimate positions women tend to prefer, what are they actually talking about? Is it about physical pleasure alone? Is it about emotional closeness? Is it about anatomy? Or is there something deeper happening beneath the surface that most people rarely consider? The answer involves all of those factors. To understand why certain positions are consistently rated highly by many women, we first need to understand something important about the human brain. Intimacy is not simply a physical event, it is a neurological experience. The brain processes emotional connection, anticipation, trust, stress levels, body image, comfort, and communication at the same time. This means that physical satisfaction is often influenced by factors that appear unrelated at first glance. In other words, what happens before intimacy frequently shapes what happens during intimacy. Many sexual health researchers have pointed out that emotional safety can significantly influence arousal, comfort, and overall enjoyment. When a person feels relaxed, respected, and connected, the body's natural responses often function more effectively. When anxiety, pressure, distraction, or insecurity enter the picture, those same responses may become less predictable. With that foundation in mind, it becomes easier to understand why some positions consistently appear near the top of preference surveys among women. One of the most commonly appreciated experiences involves positions that allow face-to-face interaction. At first glance, this might seem surprising. Many people assume physical mechanics are the primary factor in satisfaction, yet countless women report that eye contact, facial expressions, communication, and emotional connection can dramatically enhance intimacy. Why does this matter so much? Humans are social creatures. Eye contact activates powerful emotional processes within the brain. It helps create feelings of closeness, trust, and mutual attention. During intimate moments, being able to see a partner's reactions can strengthen emotional bonding and improve communication without saying a single word. Researchers studying attachment and relationships have repeatedly found that feelings of connection often contribute significantly to relationship satisfaction. Intimacy becomes more than a physical act. It becomes an interaction between two people who are actively paying attention to each other. Another commonly preferred category involves positions that allow greater control over movement, pace, and comfort. This preference highlights a reality that is often overlooked in mainstream discussions. Comfort matters a great deal. Every person's body is different. Height differences, flexibility levels, joint mobility, previous injuries, and overall physical condition can all influence how comfortable a particular position feels. When someone has the ability to adjust movement according to their own comfort level, it often reduces pressure and increases confidence. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as perceived control. In many areas of life, people tend to feel more comfortable and satisfied when they have some influence over what is happening around them. Intimacy is no exception. For many women, positions that provide flexibility and personal control create an environment where communication becomes easier and physical comfort improves. That combination often leads to a more positive overall experience. Interestingly, another highly valued aspect of intimacy has little to do with physical positioning at all. It involves feeling heard. Relationship experts frequently emphasize that communication is one of the strongest predictors of long-term satisfaction, yet communication during intimacy is often neglected because many people assume they should automatically know what their partner wants. Human beings do not work that way. Preferences differ enormously from person to person. What feels comfortable, enjoyable, or emotionally meaningful for one individual may feel completely different for another. The couples who report the highest levels of satisfaction are often not the couples with perfect chemistry from the beginning. They are the couples who continuously learn about each other. That learning process creates a fascinating cycle. Communication improves understanding. Understanding improves comfort. Comfort improves connection. And connection often improves satisfaction. Another category frequently associated with positive experiences involves positions that encourage closeness and physical affection beyond the intimate act itself. This might include hugging, touching, holding hands, or maintaining physical contact throughout the experience. Why is this important? Because the body releases a variety of neurochemicals during affectionate interactions. One of the most discussed is oxytocin, sometimes referred to as the bonding hormone. While popular discussions occasionally oversimplify its effects, research suggests oxytocin plays a role in social bonding, trust, and emotional connection. When physical affection accompanies intimacy, many people report feeling more emotionally fulfilled afterward. The experience feels less transactional and more relational. This helps explain why some of the most preferred positions are not necessarily the most athletic, complex, or visually dramatic. Instead, they support emotional connection, comfort, and shared participation. There is another factor that deserves attention: energy and effort. Many people assume that greater physical intensity automatically leads to greater satisfaction. Yet studies examining relationship quality and sexual well-being often reveal a more nuanced picture. Excessive focus on performance can sometimes create anxiety. Performance anxiety affects both men and women. When individuals become preoccupied with doing everything perfectly, they may pay less attention to what they are actually experiencing in the moment. Instead of feeling connected, they become observers of their own performance. This mental shift can reduce enjoyment. Positions that feel natural, comfortable, and sustainable often help people remain present. Rather than focusing on appearance or expectations, they focus on connection, communication, and shared experience. Another reason certain positions are commonly preferred involves physical support. The human body contains joints, muscles, connective tissues, and varying levels of flexibility. What feels effortless in movies or online discussions may not feel comfortable in real life. Positions that provide stability and reduce physical strain often allow people to relax more fully. Relaxation is not merely psychological, it has biological consequences. When the body is relaxed, muscle tension decreases, breathing becomes more natural, and attention can shift toward positive sensations rather than discomfort. This illustrates an important principle that sexual health educators frequently emphasize. Comfort is not separate from pleasure. For many people, comfort helps create the conditions that make pleasure possible. One of the biggest misconceptions surrounding intimacy is the belief that satisfaction comes from discovering a universally perfect technique. No such technique exists. Human beings vary tremendously. Age, health status, relationship dynamics, stress levels, cultural background, life experiences, and personality traits all influence preferences. What matters most is not finding a position that works for everyone. It is understanding what works for the people involved. This realization can be surprisingly liberating. Instead of chasing unrealistic expectations, couples can focus on curiosity. Curiosity transforms intimacy. Rather than asking, "What should we be doing?" people begin asking, "What feels right for us?" That small shift often changes everything. The healthiest approach to intimacy is rarely built on assumptions. It is built on exploration, respect, and communication. There is also an important emotional dimension that deserves more attention: feeling desired. Many women describe emotional responsiveness as a major contributor to satisfaction. Being listened to, appreciated, and valued can influence how intimacy is experienced. Emotional connection and physical connection are not separate systems operating independently. They often interact continuously. A stressful conversation earlier in the day may influence intimacy later that evening. Likewise, feelings of appreciation, trust, and affection can enhance emotional openness. This interconnectedness helps explain why relationship quality and sexual satisfaction frequently rise and fall together. Another surprising insight from modern research is that confidence often emerges from acceptance rather than perfection. Many people worry about appearance during intimate moments. They wonder how they look, whether they are attractive enough, or whether they are meeting expectations. These concerns are incredibly common. Yet studies examining body image suggest that self-consciousness can sometimes reduce enjoyment by pulling attention away from the present moment. Supportive partners can make an enormous difference. When individuals feel accepted rather than judged, they often become more comfortable expressing preferences, communicating openly, and participating fully in the experience. This brings us back to the central question: why do certain intimate positions consistently appear on lists of women's favorites? The answer is not because they are magical. It is because they often support the things that many women value most: comfort, communication, closeness, emotional connection, mutual participation, physical support, flexibility, and the ability to remain present. The position itself is rarely the entire story. The experience surrounding it matters just as much. And perhaps that is the hidden lesson most discussions miss. People often search for better techniques when they may actually benefit more from better communication. They search for novelty when they may need greater understanding. They search for complexity when simplicity might create a deeper connection. As science continues to explore human relationships and sexual well-being, one message appears again and again. Healthy intimacy is not about achieving perfection. It is about creating an environment where both people feel comfortable, respected, connected, and understood. That perspective changes how we think about attraction, satisfaction, and relationships themselves, because the most meaningful discoveries are often not about what position someone prefers. They are about why. And when we look beneath the surface, we find that the answer usually has less to do with physical mechanics and far more to do with something deeply human: the desire to feel seen, valued, connected, and safe with another person. Perhaps that is the real takeaway. The most satisfying intimate experiences are rarely defined by a single moment, a single technique, or a single position. They are shaped by countless small choices: listening carefully, communicating honestly, showing empathy, respecting boundaries, and remaining genuinely present. Those habits strengthen relationships long before intimacy begins and continue influencing them long after the moment has passed. And in a world full of quick answers and oversimplified advice, that may be the most important truth of all. The conversation about intimacy is not really a conversation about positions. It is a conversation about people, about connection, about understanding, about learning how to care for another human being while allowing yourself to be understood in return. And when that foundation exists, everything else tends to become far more meaningful.